Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with DVD. How you doing? In honor of Mother Wendy. Now, in the midst of my reporting and many other YouTubers reporting on the docuseries, excuse me, early in the morning, the allergies ain't allerging, or they are allerging, excuse me. But in the midst of all of the backlash, Dan Schneider has come out and made a statement. Now, like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell button, and you'll be notified when I upload a video. But I am going to cite my sources. Everything is alleged, and in my opinion, this is Dan Schneider actually speaking to a interviewer with TMZ. Dan Schneider is addressing the allegations in the new Nickelodeon docuseries that paints him to be a monster and wildly inappropriate, and he is taking accountability. The one-time Nickelodeon honcho sat down with a former interview and offered up a formal apology. He knows that he has made a toxic workplace in the past, and now he wants to take accountability for doing such as that. He says if he could go back and change things, that he may have done things a little bit differently. And he said the docuseries was very, very hard for him to watch, and he is indeed embarrassed and regretful. Now, I am about to play you his interview. Again, this is fair use commentary.
Me feel awful and regretful and sorry.
That is Dan speaking in his own words.
I wish I could go back, especially to those earlier years of my career, and bring the growth and the experience that I have now and just do a better job and never, ever feel like it was okay to be an asshole to anyone, ever. Drake and I talked, and he told me what had happened. I was more devastated by that than anything that ever happened to me in my career thus far. And I told him, I'm here for you. What do you need? Which Drake mentioned in the show that we watched last night. And next, I heard that he went to court when this guy was being tried, Peck. And when Drake walked in, he saw 50 people sitting on the side of the courtroom supporting Peck. A lot of them pretty famous. Of course, Drake was devastated that happened. And even more disappointing, 41 of those people wrote letters for Peck, character letters, praising him for who he was and asking for leniency. And they knew that he was guilty. They knew he had confessed to some degree. And they still did this. That's baffling that adults would do that. Yeah. And I don't know if people know this, but Drake's mom, a lovely woman who I stay in contact with this day, she came to me at the time and she said, Dan, I'm not good with words like you are. And would you help me with my speech with the judge?
Dan is crying.
I said, of course. And I did. And he ended up going to prison and serving his time.
Now, mind you, Dan wasn't with Drake.
Probably the darkest.
He could have supported
part
him.
Of my career.
Now, Dan even addresses the off-color jokes that was written for the show. That's the ad plan. Excuse me. Well, TMZ has to get paid too, honey. You know how the ads play on the good YouTube as well. Now, Dan even agrees some of the questionable jokes written for his show should be cut right now, insisting he wrote the quips with children in mind and there was no ill intent. Of course course there was no ill intent at the time, brother. Because when people have sick, depraved minds, in my opinion, they don't see anything wrong with their actions. Now, a spokesperson has also spoken on behalf of Dan and said everything that happened on the shows Dan ran was carefully scrutinized by dozens of involved adults and approved by the network. Had there been any scenes or outfits that were inappropriate in any way, they would have been flagged and blocked by a multi-layered security system. Lies, lies, telling lies is alibis. I hate the lies. The network gave us as viewers what was presented to them and probably cut up and chopped and screwed. And of course, Dan was making them millions of dollars off of the back of these teen children. So how in the world, or why in the world, would he, first of all, send them uncut copies of Ariana Grande with her toe in her mouth or squeezing a potato? So had he done this and sent them the uncut copies and they were multi-level security and scrutiny and scrutinizing those videos, then why are we still seeing the clips? Why didn't they cut the clips? Why can you go to watch these clips at this time and still see snot, what we could consider snot, being shot in people's face? Or the main thing, quote unquote, Amanda Bynes being called Penelope Taint, not Tate. My whole years of watching the Amanda show, I thought they were saying Tate, as in Tate. They hid that so well that we literally thought that they were saying Tate. Now, Dan is talking about the time that Peck served. Not nearly enough, in my opinion. But you should be brought up on charges as well, in my opinion. Because it takes a sick, depraved individual to hide in plain sight what you call, quote unquote, off-color jokes. But you were making off-color jokes for children. And, while Drake Bell and Josh haven't said anything about you per se, they probably would say something now as adults looking back on what you were presenting to the public. And the Nickelodeon executives, if you did present them with Pickle Boy, Ariana Grande squeezing the potato, the shake weight videos, if you did present them to them, and all of your toe and foot fetish, allegedly, videos, if you presented that to them, then there should have been a damn psychologist on set reviewing those videos along with the set producers and directors and the higher ups. Because apparently they didn't have the eye to see that you are indeed crossing the line, in my opinion, into editorial behavior. You were not, you didn't just, you haven't been accused of touching anyone like Peck. But at the same time, what you did And that's what I consider leading behavior. That's what I consider low key, under the radar, grooming behavior. Now, I'm going to end it there. I'll come to you with any other updates that I may see or may come across in regards to this matter. Again, Dan Schneider has spoken out. He spoke to TMZ, crediting my sources. You can go over there and check the article yourself if you don't trust my word on it. I saw it, and I just had to speak out on it because this information is very, very, very disturbing to me. Like I said, as a former mental health worker, former social worker, caseworker, all of the above, and I have worked with children directly who have been affected by these type of things, and I know how editors, I'm saying editors because you know the algorithm, okay? Put a P in front of it. I know how editors mind F children and have them thinking that they are in the wrong, and they reverse all of that pain and blame themselves. They never ever blame the person who is victimizing them. Okay? And from my understanding, Mrs. Massey, Kyle, and the one that played on, I forgot the other one's name, but and I don't mean to call him the other one, but Kyle and Massey, the Massey brothers, I just put it this way. Mother has made a statement in support of Dan. She said her experience was nothing like this, and he was indeed good to her son, okay, and good to her. Okay, she's getting dragged, as she should. Okay, now I'm not saying that because she said, and then she made a statement, blame the parents. Yeah, blame the parents. But what was his role in turning a blind eye to what was going on the set? Even if, like I said, even if he may have not touched anyone, what about the jokes? As an adult looking back on it, even though your children were in these shows, I believe the child that she's definitely speaking on one was on That's So Raven, and now one of her children was on That's So Raven, and the other child was on Zoe 101. My question is, did you see the signs while you're coming out in support of Dan? She has literally turned this into a race issue. Ma'am. Excuse me. Hello? Lady. It's not a race issue. Talking about, well, because I supported a white man. No, ma'am. You supported someone that's being accused of making inappropriate, off-color jokes at the expense of children and the ignorance of the viewer. He thought that he was smarter than everyone, okay? And for a time, he got away with this extra innuendos allegedly involved in these videos. However, we're adults now, and through analysis and deep analysis, we can see what he was doing. This is Dan now. This is Dan asking for the massages. Ma'am, did you give him a massage, ma'am? Huh, ma'am? Did your children give him a massage, ma'am? Did you see him in a hot tub with a young Amanda Bynes? Did you see that? Ma'am, maybe you should not speak on it, in the words of Candy. Now, another star is coming out in response to Dan's apology. This information is coming from the Shade Room, citing my source, fair use commentary. Her name is Alexa Nicholas, and she was involved in the documentary. More stars are coming out. People are ready to talk. And she said that she was not going to just acquiesce to his apology because he did then provide a toxic work environment. Nicholas played the best friend of Zoe Brooks in the 2005 release Zoe 101 series. On Tuesday, March 19th, Nicholas appeared to catch the former Nick producers issued apologies to the former Nick staff, promoting an unsafe working environment. In response, Nicholas has almost, wow, I'm not going to check that out. I'm just going to give you snippets of what she said. I'm reading this as I'm reporting it. I did not know she had done a 2-hour-long live stream. If you want to go check it out, go check it out. But she did admit that she felt like he did provide an unsafe working environment. And she said that she feels like that he should have provided a private apology, not a public blanket apology. This man will be apologizing to Jesus come back on Good Friday next week. She will not change her statements. She said that she feels like Schneider is indeed a bully, and I would have appreciated him coming to me personally. Now, let me just say this. By her full quoted statement from the Shade Room, you can tell that she is an adult speaking, in my opinion, and with me having psychology, a degree. Okay, I'm throwing that out there. Because I can provide commentary from a psychological standpoint because I, worked in these professions. And it's still my opinion though, because hey, this YouTube, okay? She's still to me speaking from the mind of a child, because what she said was, I would have appreciated if Dan apologized directly to me. He is still a bully and a meanie. Those are teenage words or childlike words. He impacted my life in a very negative way. Where's the phone call? Where's the apology to me directly? How come you could do all of this in the public, but never coming directly to the person you hurt? When I say that I agree with her 100%, ultimately, she called him a privileged white male who doesn't know what accountability is. Ultimately, the former Zoe 101 actor says she infinitely rejects Dan Schneider's apology. She says, you don't feel anything, Dan. You are like a very freaking, there goes one of those childlike words again, privileged white male I've honestly ever met working on set. You don't even know what accountability is. You have no idea what it is. This is not the way. I would have rather gotten a letter from you, for example, apologizing genuinely, than having to witness the whole world watching whatever the hell this is, she said. I don't forgive Dan Schneider. That wasn't a proper apology. That was avoiding a lot of the main discussions that were mentioned on Quiet on Set. This is him playing the sympathy card and centering himself. Now remember, that's quotes. That's her quotes. Those are her statements. Now remember, Dan is an actor. Okay. Dan don't want to go to jail. Shout out to Dan work. But it is indeed my hope that Dan goes to jail. And with Dan shows, let me just say this. Let me say it. Now, these are kids shows. And just like with many shows that don't reach the 5-year mark, my understanding is that shows normally have to reach the 5-year mark or you to be paid residual payments. Now, Nickelodeon owns the rights to those shows, and they can air them as they choose. But I say, now here I am. Y'all ready? Because, I'm not a supporter of Bill Cosby. Okay? Am I right about that? Hello? Somebody. Pull the video. If you can, because, we had 9 seasons of the Cosby Show. NBC released the rights of those TV shows or the show to various other cable networks. Now that we are seeing, because I can guarantee you in my mind, I feel like Dan is still making money off of those shows in their rerun form. You know who's probably not making money? The actors. Because my understanding as far as the actors go, the show has to make a 5-season run in order to, or 100-episode mark in order to receive residual payments. Now, I may not be right about that. I mean, this is just through my entertainment history experience. Me, listening to various actors speak about their experiences in Hollywood and not receiving residual payments, which was, a big deal with people like Esther Roll, Sherman Hemsley. I've heard the actors of my day speak on how our residual payments work. They may be different from that now, but drop down in the comments and let me know, is that still the same? You have to make 100-episode threshold in order to make money off of these reruns and stuff like that. But if that's not the case, then they should do this gentleman exactly the way they did Bill Cosby. Because Bill Cosby, while some of his jokes were off color and you could see that he was making these jokes about women, when you go back and look at it, especially that Spanish fly joke, okay? Then let's do the same thing with that. I don't want to see Ariana Grande with her toe in her mouth anymore. I don't want to see the obsession allegedly shown on TV anymore of these children's feet. Seeing on an iCarly episode in one of those clips, her toe in a faucet. Stop it. Pull the videos. And with that being said, if I get any more commentary, because this came to me, as I was getting ready to close his apology tour video. I didn't know Alexa had made a comeback statement until, I scrolled down a little bit further and saw what the Shade Room was reporting. So let me cite my sources. My information is coming from the Shade Room and TMZ's websites. Go check them out yourself. And, trust what I'm saying. This is me giving my opinion and my commentary on those issues. Now, I'm going to close with that. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button so you can be notified. And as I do when I close, I'm going to chunk them up. Deuces.